So, what did the host of the Stephen A. Smith show make of the convention? The man, the myth, the legend. I saw him in an ad in a sleeveless hoodie showing off. Stephen A. Smith right now. I saw you. I saw you, Stephen A. Smith.
My brother, what's going on, man? How you doing?
You tell me. What do you think of the state of play? So much happening since I last saw you.
Well, I thought that Kamala Harris started off a bit slow with her speech. I thought she was too much into her resume and her bio, sort of capitulating to all the noise about, her qualifications and what she had or hadn't done in her career, and in particular as Vice President of the United States for like the first 10 minutes or so. I thought, but after that, I thought she was sensational. I really was. I was very, very proud of her. She made the case for being a Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States of America, reminding folks of her credentials in a way that basically, shoved aside notions of her being some radical leftist. She lent herself more so towards common sense, towards pragmatism. She emphasized this need to do what's in the best interest of this country as opposed to herself, basically attacking the narcissism of her opponent in this upcoming election. She did all of those things, and I thought that what she did that he didn't do, she fed off the momentum that was built in the days leading up to the encore performance. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, both who were sensational, and Michelle Obama was just on another level. She was something special. Obviously, Hillary Rodham Clinton before her, Bill Clinton after them. Elizabeth Warren comes on stage to that standing ovation that was a bit elongated. It extended a long time, and it was well-deserved and clearly very, very touching to her and brought her to tears. You just saw a lot of that going on, and you were waiting for the encore performance and praying that Kamala Harris did not resemble Donald Trump in his speech to cap off the Republican nomination, National Convention in any way. And she certainly was not guilty of that. She was absolutely sensational for the last 25 to 30 minutes, making her case to the American people on behalf of the Democratic Party and really throwing a twist at the conservatives. Basically painting themselves as people who were patriotic, people who were committed to middle America, who were committed to doing what was right and what was in the best interest of all. Now, that doesn't mean that their policies are going to exemplify that. We shall see. But nevertheless, I thought they did a much, much better job as messengers on the last night of the convention compared to how Trump ruined the Republican National Convention with one of the most awful speeches we've ever heard.
So I think that the momentum has carried her about as far as it can. The Democrats clearly believe this is a group effort, that they're not riding it all on Harris and Walz. And to your point about the different approach, their hats for Walz and Harris are camo hats. They're hunting camo hats with orange, like safety vest orange lettering. They're making a play for Americana that the Democrats are usually seen as coastal elites. And I think that's interesting. Does it sustain? That takes me to my question. She is a question mark on policy. Some people have been saying this speech was ineffective because it wasn't detailed enough. I think that's an unreasonable expectation of a nominating speech. But how important is it for Kamala Harris to be in the chair across from people like you, me, making the case of how and why, here's how I get to better, and now?
I think it's pivotal. And I think it's pivotal in all honesty to her for very, very unfair reasons. Real men know that women are the backbone of this nation, the backbone of our households. We're usually better because we've got the right women in our lives. I had the greatest mother I think God has ever created. I'm sure you feel the same way about your mom. I've got 4 older sisters I love dearly. I've got 2 beautiful daughters. I've got 9 nieces. When you think about the power of women and what they bring to the table, you simply cannot say enough about that. And I think here's the negative part, though. On far too many occasions, the machismo in some in our society comes out, and they start talking about what it takes to be a man, how brave you are. Are you willing to be contentious? Are you willing to be confrontational? Are you willing to be acerbic and abrasive when called upon to do so in the best interest of this country, et cetera, et cetera? And anytime you're a woman and you don't seem the need to come across that way, they will depict it as weakness. If anybody will try to exploit that, it is Donald Trump.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.